What's up, guys? Evan here from Iron Pedals again, and I have a full length for you today on these things back here. Dirt jumpers. I'm an aging BMXer, and as I get older, I turn to my dirt jumper more and more. But I'm going to go over a few hot takes and key points that I have today on dirt jumpers. First of all, is it BMX? I don't know. That's a tricky question. What are they? You probably know what a dirt jumper is by now, but if you're not, or if you're on the fence on buying one, I have a little bit of information for you. What I think they'll do for you and where I think they'll take you. And are they good for your riding style and kind of who they're for? If you guys watched my short from the other day, you'll see that I had a little bit of a preview, me holding my Fairdale there and kind of saying, this is my big BMX bike, and asking the YouTube population if they felt that it was BMX, mountain bikes, or if dirt jumping was just its own separate entity in the bicycle category. You see a lot of things like slopestyle. You see a lot of things like MTBMX is a page on Instagram. Shout out to them. They post some pretty cool stuff of guys riding dirt jumpers, hitting some big jumps, hitting some street spots, and even being in skate parks, concrete parks, stuff like that. I think it's a pretty cool thing. So first of all, my hot take, is it BMX? I think riding a dirt jumper is BMX. There are a couple things that make that distinguishing opinion to me. First of all, you can ride a dirt jumper with a 26-inch wheel or a 24-inch wheel and a front suspension fork at a BMX track. You can race it on the gate. They have their own class, and you can race any bike in novice. And I've been saying that I'm going to race for the last 5 years, and my lovely fiance supports me, and I never show up to the track anyways, so it doesn't even matter. I've tried and tried, but I've never been, so that just is what it is. But with that being said, BMX to me is any bike with geometry that's meant for jumping, racing on a track with the rollers and everything in the berms, but also with geometry that's kind of biased to parks and steeper lips and quarter pipes and ledges and stuff like that. Now, I know that some people would say that no, it's not BMX, 20-inch wheels are BMX. I think BMX is a dated term that a lot of people kind of flock to for the 20-inch guys. Now, right over there in my filled up bike rack at the moment, I don't have a single 20-inch bike. I have nothing but a 22-inch S&M, a 24-inch S&M, and a 26-inch 90s Cannondale that is sick, but it's not a BMX bike, it's a mountain bike. But my two BMX bikes don't have 20-inch wheels. I am 30 years old. I am 5'9" and about 215 pounds. Those bikes, 20-inch bikes, just don't feel at home for me anymore. They did when I was younger. I was never any good, and I might be able to put some clips in here. Don't hold me on that, but when I was younger, I wasn't very good, and I was always the dude getting broke, but that was the fun of it. As I got older, I got wiser, got back into the sport via mountain bikes, picked up one of these bad Larrys right here, and never looked back. I mean, the fork and the geometry and the wheels, the bigger wheels definitely, I think, play a part in why I have been able to progress. And I'm going to touch on that later on what I think, they'll do for you if you have one or if you want to pick one up. You can see that mine's set up a little bit different. I have 4-inch rise Fairdale bars on my Fairdale Hair Razor dirt jumper, and it brings you up higher. I don't have any stack washers or anything like that, but I have a profile stem with a shorty. I think it's a 38, either 38 or 40 mil profile stem. Acoustic stem, front load, so no stack or rise on the stem with 4-inch bars. They're pretty much equivalent to some stack washers and an 80 millimeter rise deity bar. They look more BMX with a crossbar, 22.2 mil clamp, classic BMX, Hoder grips, and I even have a mechanical disc brake on it, but all those things have kind of put it into a little bit more of a BMX category for me. But yeah, like I said, I think their BMX, they make dirt jumps feel great. Hence probably why they're called a dirt jumper. But that's Mr. Points out the obvious a lot and whatever. My next kind of hit point is, what are they? Now, if you're watching this, you probably already know what a dirt jumper is because you probably looked up dirt jumpers and you found this video, or you subscribed to my page and, you know, whatever. But for me, a dirt jumper is a larger wheel, 26 or 24-inch wheel bike with front suspension, and that usually goes 100 mil. I don't really think they go bigger than 100 mil. Maybe 120 if you're feeling overzealous, but whatever. But a larger wheel, a bigger wheelbase than a standard BMX bike. 26 ain't dead, and like I said, you can race it on the BMX track, so there's that crossover again. But with the bigger wheels, the aggressive geometry that maybe would be closer to a BMX bike that is meant to rip the bull in parks, ride street, ride the trails, they feel great, and pretty much just ride everything. I tell people all the time, if my dirt jumper had gears, I'd ride it on every trail ever. Probably get a little tough. 26-inch wheels are weird to climb. I started out on a 27.5 mountain bike, and everybody always laughed at me because it's so hard to climb, but whatever. Second point that I'm going to get to real quick here, what I think they'll do for you. This is a really, really near and dear topic for me because everything that I've learned that I do on my 22-inch BMX bike at this point, I learned on my 26-inch dirt jumper with the suspension fork. And I say with the suspension fork because I did have a rigid dirt jumper back in the day and I absolutely hated it. But that's here nor there. Hot take. But my local trails that I dig at and ride at, I rode on a 26-inch the first time I ever hit them. This dirt jumper right here, I rode all of them on that. And then I went back a couple weeks later on my 24-inch S&M and I rode them again and they felt great. And then I went back on my 22-inch Mad Dog S&M and I rode them again and they felt great. But what I'm getting to is the progression that comes out of a 26-inch dirt jumper is really, really good. And what I also feel is that it transfers both ways. So in my case, it transferred down to a smaller wheeled bike, but I also can feel it whenever I ride my big bike. My big bike is a 170 mil travel front and rear transition relay. It's an e-bike. It weighs 50 pounds, but it jumps and rips and carves like my dirt jumper does. And a lot of that muscle memory, as a lot of people know, comes from whatever you're riding. All the stuff that I've learned that's big, all the big jumps I've ever hit, I learned on a small bike. I know that sounds kind of wacky, but all the confidence that has inspired me to hit the big line at my local bike park or big drops and stuff like that comes from this little guy back here. So I owe a lot to this bike, and it's definitely taught me a lot of things over the last couple years of owning it. This is my second dirt jumper. I owned a Commencal Absolute a few years back, bought it on a Black Friday deal, and it was kick-ass. I upgraded it, did some things here and there, but never really got down with the aluminum frame. I don't know if it felt different, but it didn't feel like it had as much pop as this does. This Fairdale is a chromoly, 100% chromoly frame, has a great amount of pop. The short rear end really, really gets it done for me, and it makes manuals and steep lips feel really good. And like I said, I progressed a lot on this bike that's transferred to all the other bikes that are in my fleet over there. The last question that is pretty vague, but it's going to kind of put me into the final bit of this video is, are they worth it? Are they good? Are they a good bike? Who are they good for? I think dirt jumpers are great for all levels of riding, whether you're just ripping around the pump track with your kids, whether you're going to the local skills park to ride, the prefab jumps, that your local park provides to you. I think that's a good bike for that. We have a couple places around here in Pittsburgh that have skills parks with dirt jumps, and They're a blast. We have a couple of Velo Solutions pump tracks. They're a blast. Take the bike to Rays, take the bike to the wheel mill, RIP. It was a blast. It always felt good. It always feels good. And mine, like I said, is set up a little bit more like a BMX bike, excuse me, like a BMX bike, because that's what I was used to. But I digress. I think that if you're looking to progress, I think that if you're looking to have something to ride other than the single track trails, other than the bike park downhill, I think it's great. You can ride it around the street. You can ride it around the city. You can even pop the seat up and ride it around on the gravel trails. I can't say I haven't done it, but it's fun. They're good bikes. A lot of progression, a lot of good stuff comes out of them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I have to say about dirt jumpers. I don't know if it's a hot button issue calling it BMX. 20-inch lords don't sentence me to death, but you guys will get over it. You guys are still rippers, and we're all BMX kids at heart. I have a super hot take here to finish out my video that a buddy of mine said on a trip back from Rays or something. Vinny Schemes, my man, killer dude. He told me that the only reason that the mountain bike industry and mountain bike companies have dirt jumpers in their fleets, and BMX brands like Cult and S&M, but S&M's developing one, and Fit, they don't have a dirt jumper. S&M's developing one. It's in cahoots, or it's in production. It's in testing, I guess. When that hits the market, I'll buy it. I'm a diehard S&M dude. But the only reason that the mountain bike industry has dirt jumpers so far into their pocket is because BMX let them. I think there's a lot to say about that. BMX had 26-inch cruisers way before the BMX industry, or the mountain bike industry did, sorry. Way before the mountain bike industry did, and I think they kind of let it fall to the wayside. I could be wrong. I could be right. I'm not really sure about that. Whatever you guys think, comment down below, tap in, and tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about dirt jumpers. This is just all for fun and giving my opinion on them. I have some clips of me riding mine. If you guys are interested in checking that out, do it. But until next time, take it easy and get out there and ride. The weather's about to be nice. Why are you watching YouTube videos? Get out there. Go ride. Go ride. Later, guys.